How's it going, creeps? Welcome to episode 25 of Cinema Creep, a Black Mass Films podcast where we dissect all things vile, disgusting, and downright terrifying in the world of horror cinema. I'm Justin, and I'm joined by none other than Andrew. So, how you doing today? 25 episodes in the can.
25 episodes. Like you said, it's a quarter.
Yeah. So, I think we could have, you picked this movie. Not ideal for a quarter away to the 100, but it was a decent enough movie. So
it's a cult classic, right?
It's a cult.
And I gotta say though, for as many people are into this movie, this is my first time ever seeing it.
Same. I've never even seen the trailer. Like, I've always just heard of it. I knew what it was, but I've never watched anything about it.
See, I'm completely opposite. I've never even heard of it. Never saw the trailer. The only time I've ever seen this is when they talked about it in Search of Darkness 2, and I was like, Razorback. So that sounds fucking sick.
Yeah,
right?
So that's what we're talking about tonight is 1984's Razorback. It's an animal attack movie, which that's one thing I like about it. I like that genre.
Right.
But we'll get to that in a second because there's a couple other things we do want to talk about. First and foremost, I want to talk about this new Halloween Kills trailer that Universal Pictures just dropped today.
Holy shit, right?
Yeah, so there's been a lot of speculation. You know, we had an episode talking about this and what we think is going to happen, and some of our predictions were right in the trailer.
Yeah.
And so this trailer is full of kills, full of action, a lot of blood, and I've seen people have a little bit of a negative reaction to it only because they think that they're showing a lot of everything in the trailer, but you got to think this movie is going to be like an hour and a half to 2 hours long, and the trailer was like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It's not like they're showing everything. And supposedly this Halloween is going to have the highest kill count out of any Halloween to date. So even with what they showed in the trailer, there's going to be way more.
Right, for sure. But I will tell you though, like with a lot of modern horror, they do just a lot of modern trailers in general. They do put the fucking highlight reel where you see, you know, the main kills or you see like the main plot points, and that is to just try and draw those audiences in, right?
I definitely missed the days of the trailers where it was just like showing you a little bit and you had the narrator.
Or the trailer where they have shit in it and it's not even in the movie. You're like, where the fuck is that part that was in the trailer?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they do that sometimes today. Suicide Squad did that. They were like, here's this badass fucking movie. And then you go and see it and all of those scenes were cut.
Everything's cut out.
Yeah.
So the Halloween Kills trailer though, right? Like it's fucking gnarly. Like if you guys watch the YouTube channel, you can go back and you can listen to our Halloween episode. We talk a little bit about our predictions for this. If you're on YouTube, I'll put a card up in the top so you can go and you can click that and go back and listen and watch that episode. But yeah, what do you think? Like what do you think now that you've seen the trailer?
Well, I mean, I've been excited for it. Obviously, like I'm a huge Halloween fucking fanboy, but I think this is the best trailer they put out. The other ones were kind of super ambiguous, right? And it was just kind of showing how it's going to pick back up. But this one, I think, shows really a lot of what the film's going to center around. You know, the town is finally like,
we've had enough of this shit.
We've had enough of this shit. Like, fuck this dude. And it's basically this big lynch mob's going to go after Michael. And then I'm excited for the 1978 flashbacks that are supposed to be in this film as well.
Yeah, that's one thing, too, we talked about in, the last film is where they paid a lot of homage to the 1978 film. And, in this trailer, you can clearly see the Season of the Witch masks in it again, like it was in the previous film, as well as like some of the kills draw parallels to,
yeah, did you catch the scene where she's in the car? It's the same nurse. It's the same actress. Yeah. She's in the car and his hand comes down and smashes the window just like in the first film.
Yeah.
I just hope there's not too much of that where it's just like trying to play on that nostalgia factor.
Yeah, you don't want it to be too much of a copycat of it, but you do want it to take you back, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just enough to where you get a taste of it.
I want it to
thrill me.
Guess what, guys?
We programmed our
buttons.
So get ready for it.
I think you did it, too. You did it, like, I came over and I didn't even know you did it. So you know what?
Hail to the king, baby.
Hail to the king, baby. Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm super stoked. Like, our predictions were right on a lot of these things, and I really think it's going to be... When is the release date for this? Do you know?
I'm pretty sure it's just supposed to be this October. I don't know the actual day.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to go see that in theaters.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You have to. Like, I'll go see it with my wife as well as you'll go see it with yours.
Yeah, and then we're going to go see it together.
We'll see it together.
Now, unfortunately, it won't be my first time back to the theater since this pandemic, because that's the next thing I want to talk about. I'm actually fresh off of my first theater viewing of a film since this whole pandemic thing. But so do you have anything else to say about
One last thing I want to
Halloween
say.
Kills?
One last thing I want to say about Halloween Kills is David Gordon Green, writer director, fucking nailed it. Like, he killed it. Like, this dude, he embodies what Halloween's about. You know,
Right, and that's why I'm so excited about these, is because that franchise, as much as I love it, and the sequels, I love them for the cheese factor, but the whole franchise got convoluted and like extremely just overplayed with random bullshit, right?
right?
This is bringing it back to its purest fucking form, I think.
I want your take on this too, right? Just David Gordon Green. We obviously know he's a talented fucking guy, right? I was just looking at his IMDb. Did you know that it was announced that he is doing a Hellraiser TV show?
I knew they
Hellraiser
were
TV series.
rebooting Hellraiser in some form, but I didn't know how.
Right.
But
So he's executive producing it, and I think he's directing some of the episodes, sort of like a David Lynch kind of deal, where he'll like direct a couple episodes.
Okay,
And then
and
executive
before we
produce
go
it.
further on that, I have to get this off my chest, because every time I hear David Lynch now over the last couple, so one of the things, have you ever had a moment in your life where you lose sleep over that shit? So probably about 10 episodes back. See, David Lynch, now I'll never forget his name. David Lynch is one of those filmmakers that I've always admired his shit, but whenever I try to remember his name, I always blank on his fucking name.
Right.
And so I've just recently like rewatched Twin Peaks and like went back and watched Mulholland Drive and stuff like that, and Eraserhead. And I'm like, man, I fucking love David Lynch, but I always draw blanks on his name just because it's like, I don't know, like that name just, there's not enough fucking RAM in my head. So about 10 episodes ago, one of the fucking trivia questions you asked me was, you know, who directed Eraserhead? And I just blanked and couldn't remember his name, and I missed the question.
So what you're saying is
I lose sleep over that shit.
It was erased out of your head.
It was, yes. I don't even know yet, but that's what I'll go. But so I lose sleep over the fact that I missed that question. But now it's a good thing, because since I missed that question, I will never forget his fucking name again, ever. Because now every time someone's like, Twin Peaks, Mulholland Drive, Eraserhead, I'm like, hey, David Lynch, man.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get that off my chest, because that's been every time I've been watching an episode of Twin Peaks lately, I'm like, I missed this fucking question.
Every time.
Every fucking time.
You lose sleep over it.
Or I'll see like Blue Velvet will pop up in my suggested for me to watch. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. Well, now you know. Now you got it locked in because of me. You're welcome.
Yeah. And I don't know why I always forget his name. It's just like, I've got such a fucking Rolodex of fucking filmmakers in my head that like sometimes I just forget names.
David Lynch fell to the bottom.
He fell to the bottom. Not
Yeah.
his works, but his name.
Well, listen, I love David Lynch as much as the next person, but he's not in my top 5. So,
Well, I think the reason that I forget his name is because also, if you're someone who's listened to this show for any length of time, there's only room in my head for one white-haired David, and that's Cronenberg. So
okay.
he pushes Lynch out of my head sometimes.
Okay, well, we'll test that theory in Trivia of Terror later.
Will we know?
We might.
Fucking
So
do it.
let's go back to what you were saying about going to the theater. So tell me a little bit about that experience, because I haven't been back.
Okay, well, it wasn't the full traditional experience. Like, what I love about seeing a movie in theaters is the audience aspect, right? Seeing it with a group of people who also love cinema, right? So we show up. We went to see A Quiet Place Part 2. And we were like, well, let's go to the 7:00 showing or whatever. And we're like, actually, no, you know what? Let's try to make the 4:20 showing. It was 4:10 when we decided this, but we showed up in time. We were the only 2 people in there, and then 2 other people came in. But, I mean, it was nice to see it on a big screen with surround sound. The only thing that was annoying is for that kind of film, the sound design, there's a lot of, like, quiet, right? That's the point.
Yeah.
2 times during this film, the fucking air conditioning came on in the theater, and you could hear it, and I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
But other than that, fucking love the movie. I do have very minor like nitpicky things, but it's not gonna make me like hate the movie. But we'll talk about that if we do a Quiet Place episode. Like I don't want to like talk about those because since you haven't seen it, it's things that like I want you to see and see if you pick them out yourself. So
we'll do a Quiet Place 1 and 2.
Yeah, but other than that, I fucking love the movie. Beautifully shot. John Krasinski is like, I was talking to you about this a little before the podcast. You've got the two big directors right now doing their art house thing. Ari Aster and Robert Eggers.
Yeah.
But then you've got Jordan Peele and John Krasinski who are coming from like comedy that are doing killer shit like A Quiet Place 1 and 2, Us, Get Out, and now Jordan Peele's obviously got Candyman coming. He's got the Twilight Zone thing going for him. So
well, that's why a lot of like horror comedy works so well together is because I've always heard that horror and comedy, what they have in common is timing. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Like the way it can be written is timing.
How it's delivered is key.
Yeah. So, I think that's why your horror writers or your comedy writers that go into horror, I think that's why they excel, is because they have that timing already down,
I agree.
And those two, Peele and Krasinski, man, those guys, fucking hands down, they're killing it.
Oh, yeah, dude. Like the cinematography of this, like you have to look up, I forget her name, but so both A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place Part 2 had women DPs. And they fucking knocked it out of the park. And I was listening to an interview with John Krasinski, and they were asking him, they were like, was it part of your thought process trying to hire a woman DP? Like, you're essentially trying to ask him, like, are you trying to, like, be woke?
Up, yeah.
And he was like, in nicer words, he's like, what the fuck kind of question is that? He's like, I was trying to hire like the best people.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
And he's like, I didn't hire them because they're women. I was hiring them because they had the look that I fucking wanted.
Yeah.
And it was shot on film. I listened to an interview with the DP too. I just can't remember her name.
It's you're talking about Polly Morgan.
Yeah.
She did Legion and Lucy in the Sky, 6 Balloons, and The Intervention.
Yeah. But so cinematically, this film was fucking beautiful. Of course, the first one was too. It was shot on film. And they play a lot. So the movie, I will say this, the movie opens up like showing you like day one of what happened. So they really play with sound a lot. Like there's moments where, so there's a baseball game. So you're hearing like all the sounds and like the ball hitting the glove. And then you hear like car horns. And a lot of it startles you because you're used to this movie not having sound. The one thing I will say that will kind of make you fucking sad is there's a scene where he gets out of his truck and he's going to the baseball game. And there's a German Shepherd sitting in the back of a pickup truck. And it lingers on that shot for a second because it's supposed to sink into you that after everything happened, there are no more dogs. Because think of it, dogs don't know to be quiet.
Yeah.
Like any animal like that that's on land, like is fucking dead. So I was just like, damn.
I fucking love dogs.
Same. But so it shows all that shit. It shows how it started. And then, of course, it picks up on day like 400 something. So it's basically picking up where the film, like the modern, like the present scenes are picking up where the first one left off. But it does a good job building tension, like throughout the whole film, like not just playing on sound, but like the whole last, let's say 25, 30 minutes of the film. It's just a constant buildup of like anxiety inducing tension. And it's so fucking good. Like I said, we'll talk about it more in depth when we do an actual episode, like after you've seen it. That way I can talk about the couple little things that did irk me. And they're not even plot point things. It's like, you wouldn't even call them continuity things. It's just like, just little details. And I'm like, really?
Well, since you talked about it a little bit, I got to nerd out for a minute, on what it was shot on. And, we'll go into it more when we actually talk about the film, but, it was shot on film, right? There was shots with the Alexa Mini, of course, and then the Panavision Panaflex Millennium XL2. Yeah. That's your 35 mil camera right there.
That's like industry standard, like holy grail.
Kodak Vision 2383. That's the film stock it was shot on. And I would like to see, let me see. You had Kodak Vision 250D 5207, Vision 3 500T 5219. So this is something I would like to see an interview with.
What you as a cinematographer, that's what I was going to say, It's the Go Creative show, the one that we both listen to.
Right.
If you go find it, like she talks about her choices.
Oh, so there is one about this.
Yeah, it talks about the reason that she chose the specific film stock she did. Talks about why her choice to sometimes overexpose highlights.
Sick.
Like it's a really in-depth interview. I'm pretty sure it's the Go Creative show.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll send you the episode after we finish this, but
yeah,
because then it talks about the, how she, because since she is a different DP from the first film, it talks about how she actually like talked to the other DP to try to figure out, like where she should go and how to also expand and like put her fingerprints on it.
Right. Well, hell yeah. So what would you give it a rating out of 1 to 10?
I'd give it a 9 out of 10.
Really?
The things that bothered me about it weren't bad enough to make me be like, this movie, like...
They weren't John Krasinski problems. They were Justin James problems.
Yeah. Well, even then, it's probably not like I'll talk about this one because, again, it's not a story thing. So the deaf girl, I forget the character's name, but there's a scene where she's using a shotgun.
Right.
And she's sitting on the ground with her back up against the wall. One of these things is trying to get her. And she's trying to hold something. I don't want to give that away. She's trying to hold something in her other hand. And she's got a full-size pump-action shotgun. And she holds it with this one hand and props it up against her shoulder and pulls the trigger to shoot the thing. There's no kickback at all from this shotgun. And it's just even like, so how small she is, the way she's holding it, like it should have, there should have been some major-ass recoil. So that's more of like a prop master thing, like, well, we didn't put a blank in it that would make it like jump, or maybe it was a directorial thing where he didn't like give her direction to, hey, when you pull this, you need to like do this. So it's just little things like that. It's nothing like story wise.
Cillian Murphy's in this one.
That's the dude from
28 Days Later and Inception. Plays Scarecrow and yeah,
Peaky Blinders too.
That dude's fucking sick.
Yeah, he's in it. He's a major character in this.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I like that dude a lot. I mean, he's in stuff, but I don't really see him in stuff. You know what I mean?
I think I know him mainly for Peaky Blinders because it's a good-ass fucking show.
You know what? I never started that, but I was just literally... So off topic, right? Off topic. I found this YouTube channel called Hairhood.
Hairhood?
Hairhood, and it's this barber dude. It's like one of those new school tattoo barber guys, right? But he basically does cuts geared towards movies. So like, well, he shows you, it's like ASMR barber haircuts, but he does it in an old style barber shop, and he's like
a parlor.
A parlor, right? And he's like, okay, Peaky Blinders, this is how you get this dude's look from Peaky Blinders. And he'll show like people just wanting that cut, or like barbers that are wanting to know how to do that cut, because he shows it from beginning to end.
But it's like ASMR though?
Yeah, like it's quiet. Like,
so it's like you just hear him doing like...
Yeah, you just hear him cutting the hair and picking up like his clippers, and like he's not talking or
shit like that calms me. Like,
but it's filmed so sick, like it's filmed so good. So yeah, so like I was just looking at the haircuts. I was like, I should watch Peaky Blinders.
Hell yeah, you should.
So yeah, I don't know, but off topic. So what I watched this week, let's go to that, straight into that. So I watched a show, guys, on Shudder called Anything for Jackson from 2020. It was actually pretty rad.
I've seen the artwork for it. Like I've not seen a trailer or anything.
So I think you would like it. It's about a bereaved Satanist couple kidnaps a pregnant woman so they can use an ancient spell book to put their dead grandson's spirit into her unborn child, but end up summoning more than they bargained for. So when they say a bereaved Satanist couple, it's not like what you would expect. It is an elderly couple, right?
Yeah, I've seen, because the guy is, I don't know the actor's name either, but he plays Death in Supernatural.
You're talking about Julian Richings, the old man?
Yeah.
Who are you talking about? The older guy?
Yeah, because he plays Death in Supernatural. He's also in that Christmas anthology horror film that we watched. He plays he's in the Krampus.
He was in Urban Legend, credited as the weird janitor. He was in Man of Steel. I didn't ever watch Supernatural, but...
It's good, but it's like he plays Death, I'm pretty sure.
You're talking about that weird ass. What Christmas one are you talking about?
It's the one that's got the 3 like short stories that are going on at one time.
Oh yeah.
He's the old dude in the Krampus one.
Is he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Apparently he was in Todd and the Book of Pure Evil, the TV series.
I've only watched like the first 3 episodes.
So this dude, he's been in a lot of shit. So, whatever. I'm not scrolling down to look see if he was in that thing, but yeah, anything for Jackson. So it's basically this elderly couple, and it is their grandson that they're trying to bring back to life. So what they do, without giving away too many plot points, because you guys need to go watch this, it's on Shudder, but what they do is they kidnap a pregnant woman, and they're trying to basically bring back their dead grandson and bring back his spirit, his body, whatever, into the womb of the pregnant lady that they kidnapped. And through, some, like, they go and they become Satanists with, like, some Satanist group in the local town, and then they start, like, doing these rituals and shit, right? And it's sort of like they keep getting in deeper and deeper and having to cover up more and more lies as they're holding this woman hostage in their house. It's really fucking sick. It's something that you could watch. There's not really, like, nudity. There's a little bit of blood, but not, like, gore. Like, it's something you could watch with a kid that's maybe,
so there's nothing fun.
I mean, there's some fun shit in there, but
I'm gonna check it out.
Now, I will tell you that the funniest depiction of a Satanist is in this movie. It's like exactly what you would think, because when it shows like one of the main Satanist guys, he like lives in the basement at his mom's house, and he's like listening to really loud metal music. It's fucking like the worst fucking stereotypical shit in the world.
The fucking archetypal fucking
Satanist. Yeah, just watch it. It's on Shudder. I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. And just shouting out the director. It's Justin G. Dick. Or Dyke. It's D-Y-C-K. I don't know how the fuck to say it. And writer Keith Cooper. So, super talented. Like, it's rad. It's fucking rad.
Yeah, it's on my list. Like, I keep seeing it every time I get on Shudder.
Yeah, so make time for anything for Jackson. But, Justin, the main event, episode 25.
Which one you want?
I want this one.
Thrill me.
Razorback. And that is from 1984. 84. This movie was rated R and has a runtime of 1 hour and 35 minutes. In it is, as a vicious wild boar terrorizes the Australian outback, the husband of one of the victims is joined by a hunter and a farmer in search for the beast, which I don't think that synopsis really does it justice.
No. Now, so let me forward this whole conversation with, I'm still struggling to get into the concept, but holy fuck, did this movie not look fucking good?
It looked amazing.
The atmosphere and the cinematography were like at points when I'm like, man, this movie's like whack. It's not even that it was whack. It wasn't a bad movie. It was fun. It was definitely fun. But anytime I found myself being like, do I want to finish this? A certain shot would come on. I'm like, God, look at that fucking lighting.
Right.
Look at that fucking framing.
So that is the, like, to be completely honest to you, that is originally the reason I wanted to watch it, right? Was because that's what, like I said, in Search of Darkness 2, they talked about it, and somebody said, this is like one of the most beautiful films you'll ever watch. I can't say that, but I'll say it's fucking amazing looking, right? And that goes to credit of course, the director, right? Russell Mulcahy, I think is how you say it. Mulcahy.
I don't know.
I think so. Like, it's Mulcahy. But he's Australian, right? But he's not the DP, but he's the director. So a lot of the shots were obviously directed by him of how he wanted it to look, and that comes from his long career as a music video director, right? That's why it looks so different from movies that were going on at the time.
It had a lot of surreal shot, like Salvador Dali,
right?
Kind of like.
But
stuff.
if you think about the shots, and then you think about music videos from the 80s and the early 90s, it makes sense of why it looked that way, because he would do music videos for people like Elton John and Duran Duran. Like, he wasn't, doing like, metal music videos. He was doing people that actually had like artistic vision, right? And if you think about it,
you're saying that Motley Crue in a strip club for girls isn't an art. No, but yeah.
So I think a lot of it had to. I think a lot of the style is credited to him, but also the DP, right? Dean Simler, like that guy, like he's done a lot of cool shit too. And I don't know, like it's shot amazingly, right? Like, it's hands down, you could pull a screen grab from almost any scene in the movie, and like they say,
every frame of painting,
every frame of painting.
That's what this, like, I literally said that watching it. So, warning, from this point on, there are going to be spoilers, because there are a lot that I actually want to, get into with this film. But so yeah, like we're saying, every single shot in this movie is just framed and lit so fucking amazing. Like it's literally, if you take out the concept of this like giant killer boar, which also the special effects on that, like it's all practical. Like this is 1984. There's no fucking CGI, and it was all fucking awesome looking.
Well, if you want to talk about that real quick before we get too far off of the special effects, like they spent shitloads of money recreating that giant boar.
I believe it.
So I know that one of them I saw. So they had, I know they had four, right? Four versions of the boar, like all in different stages. Like they had one that was just like the front of it. They had one that was just what I was watching some behind the scenes or something talking about the special effects on it. They actually had a boar costume, right? That they put a smaller boar in. And that's how they were having the boar costume move around. In one of the scenes, you can see it's where our main character, what's her name? What is her name?
The animal person or the...
hang on. What's her name? The news reporter lady.
I don't remember
Why
her name.
can't I remember her fucking name?
I don't remember her name.
Well, see, that's one of the things about this movie is you think she's going to be the main character all the way through.
Yeah.
And then they just fucking kill her off. It's Judy Morris as Beth Winters.
Beth Winters.
So anyways, you see where she goes out on her own to film like sunset clips.
Yeah. Like,
right? Some B-roll.
And she sees this big ass
You see
fucking...
the boar going across the ridge, right? So that scene, they actually had the boar costume on a real boar, and that boar took off with the fucking costume, and they didn't find the boar till like fucking hours later. Like they couldn't find it. It just like ran off in the outback. So it's shit like that, right?
That thing said, "This is boring," and fucking left.
So, right. So they had that costume, and then they had one that was actually the ramming boar, right?
The one that they would like send through the houses and shit?
Yeah, it was put on the front of a fucking car.
Jesus Christ.
And they would just fucking ram the car through it. And then they had one, I think, that was like a full-on, like, sort of running for, like, the running shots that were only, like, a couple seconds in the movie, but they spent $250,000 on just that one.
Yeah, I was going to say, because the boar itself maybe had, like, 10-minute screen time.
Yeah.
Which I don't think hinders anything because, you know, they still do a good job. See, okay, here's my qualm about the movie, because I keep talking shit about it as if, like, I just think it's fucking garbage. I don't. It's that aesthetically, I can't get into the concept of a giant killer boar the same way I could, like, Jaws, right?
Okay, but I want to dig into your psyche on that a little bit, so tell me why.
I don't know. Like, there's not, like, a definitive reason. It's just, like, I'm like...
Is it because you're not on the ocean?
No, I just think it's... Goofy's not the word, because you could easily say that about any animal attack movie. I don't know. I really don't know why. It's just, like, to me... I guess it's not as, like, at face value, it doesn't seem as scary as a giant fucking killer great white. But then you think about it, the great white can't get you if you're on land. This giant fucking boar is unstoppable and will fucking get you. Like, they shoot this motherfucker. Like, it gets stabbed in the throat, which I want to talk about that.
You want to talk about that?
That one specific scene, we're praising the special effects. The only qualm I have with special effects in this, the scene at the end where he stabs like that pipe through its neck.
Yeah.
There's blood spraying out. It's a good like 9 or 10 inches away from where the actual thing is stabbed.
You paid that close attention to that?
Well, it's like squirting out all over him. And it's like he's got the pole up here and the blood's going. I'm like, come on.
I mean, you know, who knows?
They used all their budget on the...
on the Raymond one?
Yeah.
So...
I mean, other than that, like, I like the movie. I just, conceptually, I'm like...
So let me talk about what I liked about the movie, and then we'll talk about some plot points that were kind of crazy all over the place, and then we'll get into more about, like, what didn't make sense and why it was kind of goofy, right?
Would you want to do that first and then praise it afterwards? That way we end on a better note?
Okay. All right. So a few goofy things about it. You tell me one, and then I'll tell you one.
Okay. Well, mine started in the very first fucking scene.
Okay.
So I get that this boar is like fucking massive, right? And it rams through the old man's house.
Yeah.
And snatches his fucking grandkid.
Yeah.
Why does the fucking house catch on fire?
Gas lines, fool.
Come on. He fucking rams through this house and it fucking like sets ablaze. It's like, poof, house is gone. And then also in the opening sequence, which they were really trying to go for like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibe, or at least that's what I got. Why is there a fucking scarecrow? What's this motherfucker planting out in the middle of the fucking desert? It was a beautiful shot. Like, because one thing, this whole movie, when I say atmosphere, so my wife watched this with me and she was like, how many fog machines did they have for this movie?
Exactly.
Because
right?
every scene was like just fucking thick ass fog.
Yeah.
But it looked good. Like the way it was lit. And then, like, you know, the framing and everything, it just all fucking, like we said, everything looked like a fucking painting. Everything was like very craftfully shot. But so that whole opening sequence looked fucking good.
Yeah.
But then there's a random ass fucking scarecrow. And I'm like, there's no fucking crops. This dude is like in the middle of fucking like the outback. Like, what is he fucking...
They need something to fill in the frame, man. They're like, we need something on the side of that.
I guess. So in the opening sequence, that was my thing. It's like, this motherfucker, he's like, fuck this house.
Maybe he had the scarecrow to try and scare away the boar.
Well, it didn't fucking work.
No.
Because this motherfucker busts through this house. I'm talking like runs through the front door, busts a big ass hole in the house, busts through the walls, grabs his grandson, and fucking bolts out the fucking back.
Look, can you imagine?
And then it cuts to the scene. It's a beautiful shot again. Cuts to the scene of him running outside. You son of a bitch. Like
the house on fire.
Yeah, and the house is just behind him, like now fully engulfed.
Could you imagine how gnarly it would be, though, to be the stunt man that's like, okay, you get in the boar car and you fucking drive it straight through this fucking house. And that's like your job. It's like your job on set is to drive the car that looks like a boar and you just ram shit.
And that was like a house. It didn't look, well, like, I don't know if they built it.
I think they built it but still.
Well, either way, it was still full of shit. Like, it was like built like a fucking house. It's not like it was cardboard.
How much fun would that be? Be like, all right, drive this fucking car through that.
Hell yeah.
I'd be all about it.
I'd want to be the guy that actually set it on fire. I'd be like, I don't know why we're doing this, but I'm fucking doing it.
This doesn't make any sense to the story.
No. It looked good, but I was still like, how did this motherfucker like catch this shit on fire?
So the main character, well, there's like 4 fucking main characters in this, right? Like, well, there's like 3.
I don't like the old man's arc either. We'll get to that too.
Because you have Bill Kerr, which is Jake Cullen in the movie. You have Gregory Harrison, which is Carl Winters. And then you have Judy Morse as Beth Winters, right? So she starts out as the main character. And you're like, okay, right? And then Bill Kerr starts out as the main character, the old man, at the house, which you were just talking about. And then it cuts to her story, right?
Well, yeah, but he goes to trial first, remember? Because they're like,
right.
They don't believe him about this big-ass boar.
Yeah.
So he's being tried for his grandson going missing.
Yeah.
And then that's when we're introduced to the whole idea that this little like town that they're around, the big place where everyone works is Pet Pack, right? They make like pet food and they make it out of like kangaroos and shit.
Yeah.
So you're introduced to some of the people that work there and they're like the trashiest, nastiest fucking people. The one scene where he's like, yeah, can I just use your shower? And they're like, shower? They're like, what?
Yeah.
You can hose yourself down if you want, but yeah, so go ahead. So then we're introduced to the Winters.
Right. So Carl Winter and Beth Winter. So Beth Winter is the reporter, right? So she reports on like
a documentarian.
Right. Like she reports on animal rights because it shows her they live in New York City. And then she gets the story about the pet pack thing and the kangaroo meat and all that. So she's 6 weeks pregnant and she gets an assignment to go over there to Australia to report on this pet pack kangaroo meat thing. And she's like, well, I don't know if I want to do it. And then, of course, Carl Winters is like, oh, well, go fucking ahead because you're 6 weeks pregnant. Doesn't really matter to me, blah, 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 which that's kind of weird anyways, right? He's just like, go ahead, by yourself. So she, of course, goes to Australia. And her and her cameraman are there. They're reporting around. They're getting a hard time from all the locals, like you said, because they go to this little, like, hotel/saloon looking fucking place. And I'm like,
which was very like an American Werewolf to me.
Oh yeah, it's
because
like
they're like the outsiders.
Slaughtered lamb.
Yeah, and they go in there and they're just like, the fuck, and she's like, I want to interview some kangaroo hunters, and they all fucking laugh at her.
Too heavy.
Yeah, and they all fucking laugh at her and shit.
Yeah, and so they go in there. They're getting hassled, and then this is where Beth Winters runs into Jake Cullen, the old man, right? Because he's like, what does he say? She says something about like about killing boars or something like that.
He says, she's like, why? And he goes, I don't know, something about blasting the shit out of a razorback really brightens up my day. or some shit like that.
I think that's exactly what he says. So anyways, it's just fucking, there's so many like weird little things scattered throughout this movie, like how, first of all, I want to talk about how much Gregory Harrison sort of looks like Bruce Campbell. He's like,
yeah,
right? He's like, not, I don't want to say the dollar store version, because he's closer than the dollar store version. He's like,
well, then to top that off, they put him in a fucking blue shirt.
Yeah.
And fucking, but can we just talk about when he shows up at the Sarah's house and she's in the outside shower?
Oh,
and she turns around and she's like, and he's like, and then he fucking passes out.
Yeah, it's like titties.
Well, the thing is in the movie, it's like, it makes sense contextually. Like, he's been wandering through the wilderness and he's like thirsty. He's had hallucination shit. So she startles him and he's just like, and then he passes out. But in the trailer, that's all they show.
Yeah.
It's her turning around and just being startled. And he just goes, It's like he's making fun of her. And then you see it in the film and you're like, why didn't you put the part of him passing out in the trailer? Like, I would have taken this way more seriously.
Yeah. But he actually did a pretty good job for his role. Like,
all the acting in this was really good. I just think like there's so much jumping around with like character plots because, like you talked about. So it starts off with the old man. He's out for vengeance against this Razorback because he lost everything because of it, because it took his grandson. He's looked at as a murderer by the town. His daughter wants nothing to do with him because she thinks that he's responsible. So he's got this personal vendetta against this thing. Then you've got the documentarian, and you're like, okay, well, she's the main character, and then she gets fucking killed, almost raped, and then fucking killed.
Yeah.
So now you've got her husband is like, well, fuck this. I'm going to Australia to look for my wife. And then when he gets there, he meets the two people, like those nasty ass dudes, the
Deco
brothers,
and
Dicko and fucking
whatever his name is. It starts something else. But yeah.
Yeah, so they're the brothers that work at Pet Pack. And he shows up and he's like, he's playing it off like he doesn't know Beth Winters. And they're like, all right, well, you want to go hunt some roos? And so they get in this fucking truck. They go out at night. They're fucking drinking and all this shit. And he's just like, hell yeah, I'll come along for the party. It's like, dude, you showed up to like save your, or like figure out what happened to your wife. What the fuck are you doing? And then it's like the old man, it jumps back to that story because now you meet, I don't know. I never got if she's related to him or not. I don't think so.
No, she's not.
So you meet the Sarah woman because after, what was the husband's name again?
You're talking about Carl.
Yeah.
Carl Winters.
So he's left in the wilderness and he's having all these hallucinations. He's almost killed by boars. He shows up at the Sarah girl's house.
Yeah.
And she like nurses him back to health or whatever. And then so he meets the old man and they get this plan to like, they're going to put a tracker on the boar and all this shit, right? Well, so then now the old man story, it's like, oh, we're going to kill this fucker too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah. That's your second main character down. But see, that's something I respect about the movie because like they could have wrote out, like here's your hero through the movie. It could have been
they
Beth
Game
Winters
of Thrones
the
the fuck out of it.
Right, but they're like, fuck it. It's killing your sweethearts, right? You just fucking kill them. And with no remorse because they didn't have to kill Beth Winters. Right?
That's why I keep trying to get you to watch Game of Thrones because they literally, the first like couple seasons, they literally do that.
Yeah.
Everyone that you think is going to be a major character, I'm talking like first episode shit too. You're like, oh, this is definitely going to follow that guy.
Yeah.
And then the episode ends with like, fuck you, he's dead.
I don't know where it is. I got the fucking seasons on Blu-ray. I got them for super cheap. I just never watched them. So I have
fucking watch them and then skip the last season.
Skip the last, yeah. But yeah, so
yeah, back to this.
Yeah, so this movie continues on that way. It's just does some weird shit with killing people off. But like even let's talk about how Carl Winters shows up at that saloon, right? That hotel, and like that dude just lets him borrow his fucking car.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm like, the fuck?
The guy that like I guess owns the hotel. I guess he owns it, runs it. He's just
the
like,
dude with the sailor hat?
Yeah, he's just like, oh, here's my car. Just top it off when you come back. It's like, all right. Like, but like Australia in 1984 apparently looked like America in 1884. It looked like the fucking Wild West.
Yeah, it was very. Oh, one quick. So what happened to the? I don't remember what the fuck happened to the assistant. Beth's assistant.
You're talking about the cameraman?
Yeah.
So he went back to America, and he was like, "It was all my fault. I should never let her out of my sight," kind of deal. Remember? They had that little quick scene of him.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but she would have got more screen
So yeah,
time.
see, that's the thing. Everyone just dips the fuck out because Carl Winters, now he's met the Sarah girl, so they start building the fucking romance, like romantic tension, and it's like, your wife's been missing for a week. That's why you showed up to Australia.
But do you blame him though?
I mean, yes and no. It's like, well, yeah. It's like,
What?
you fucking, what the fuck? He hasn't even went through a mourning process. He just literally showed up and was like, you said she fell down a mine shaft? I call bullshit. And then the Sarah girl's like, batting her eyelashes.
Well, she was trying hard.
She
But see,
was.
he resisted at first, right?
Did he?
Yeah, no, she was all about it because there was that scene where he was sleeping and she was she was laying in her bed and she was like staring at him. Remember that? She was like kind of looking through the window at him. And then the whole scene where she's like, he tells her that he's got to leave the next morning and she's kind of like, well, you could stay as long as you want. And he's like, I'm going to go home, you know?
Yeah.
And then she drops him off and she just kind of sits there and she's like, bye. It's like, you're fucking up, Carl Winters. What are you going back to New York for? You ain't got nothing there.
He's got the cameraman.
He's got the cameraman.
But I don't know.
But you know that woman, I don't know why I feel like telling you this because I read about it. Like the woman that played Sarah like died when she was 37.
The fuck?
Yeah. So she had a very short-lived career, but I don't know what else she was in. She was in something else. I think that was gnarly. She was in Mad Max too. She played the captain's girl.
Oh.
Yeah. So she had a main role in that too. And then she was in a couple other things. But yeah, so I think Mad Max 2 and this were like her things for people like us. Let me see. Yep. Yeah, so she was actually a good actress.
Yeah, I think all the cast did a good job.
So this film, guys, if you're not into like exploitation films or if you don't really know what exploitation films are, those are films that take a topic and they just exploit the shit out of them. So this is actually like dubbed as an Ozploitation film.
Ozploitation.
So yeah, so like Ozploitation is obviously Australian exploitation. And there's a lot of films like that out there. Like you could really say Mad Max is like that. There's Next of Kin. There's Road Games with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Right. Well, it's a very like
Stacey
Grindhouse style,
Right.
like gritty, just and then over the top.
Yeah, over the top. Very, very like they almost go to the point.
The kind of shit that we want to make.
Right. They go to the point of being stereotypical for like there's black exploitation. There's car exploitation. There's fucking like really all of it and. Sexploitation. Yeah, I mean, there's an exploitation, genre for basically anything you can think of.
Boar exploitation.
Yeah, apparently. But so this movie, I think if you're a filmmaker, I think you have to watch this film, just for the simple fact of how it's shot and how it's cut together.
Yeah, editing and cinematography are fucking 10 out of 10 for this, I think.
Now, the writing, not so much, but it is adapted from a novel. You know that, right?
No.
Yeah, it's adapted from a novel.
Why you tell me that? Because now I've got to fucking read the novel.
Yeah. So I don't know anything about the novel. I don't know if it's like a bestseller or anything, but I do know that
I doubt it.
it could be rad. Like it could be rad. So, yeah, I don't know. Like I just know that it was adapted from a novel, but the writing, the screenplay wasn't that great. But so apparently the original Australian version of the film was edited down to secure a more commercial M rating for the theatrical version by removing 4 scenes of graphic violence.
Fuck, now I'm going to search for those.
The cutscenes included footage of explicit gore and blood spurts and the death of 3 of the characters, plus the final killing of the Razorback itself.
We got to find this shit.
The UK Anchor Bay and Australian Umbrella releases contain the theatrical version, though the 4 deleted scenes are available as extras on the Australian DVD. So we need to get a hold of the Australian DVD. If you guys have it and you want to part ways with it, send us an email. Send us a
Yeah.
comment. Black
We'll
Mass.
gladly take it off your hands.
blackmass.studio@gmail.com.
Yeah, blackmass.filmstudio.
Blackmass.filmstudio. I can't talk today.
Yeah, blackmass.filmstudio@gmail.com.
There we go. Yeah, so
I think we've got Cinema Creek Podcast at Gmail too.
yeah, we got emails.
Emails for days.
Yeah. So what was your favorite kill of the movie?
My favorite kill of the movie is probably... Now I really got to think about it. I don't know. Watching the fucking the Dicko get killed is pretty satisfying because I hated that motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's gonna be it because the old man kind of dies off screen.
Yeah, he dies off screen.
Unless that's one of the deleted scenes,
which would be gnarly, right?
Yeah. But can we talk about the fucking zoom in on him though?
Oh yeah.
He fucking the boar tears the wall off the fucking thing and he's just sitting up against the wall and his eyes get real wide and he's like, and it
yeah, it almost
zooms.
Evil Dead's it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about. Like, if you just look at some of the way, not the specific scene compositions, but if you look at the way of some of the camera movement decisions.
Well, that and the atmosphere reminds me of the first Evil Dead. Especially when he's out at night.
Yeah.
And you see the shadows of all the trees and all the fog.
Well, how about when the fucking corner of that dude's house gets ripped off and it's just dragging his TV across?
Yeah, he runs off with it.
I want to talk about how the TV stays on as it's getting drug.
Yeah.
But so what I'm saying is not just Evil Dead, but a lot of those shots are very VH1 music video fucking things to me, right?
Yeah, well, that's where I think a lot of the Salvador Dali, when he's hallucinating and there's the horse skeletons and shit. I'm like...
Or there's the big obelisks in the desert.
Yeah.
Yeah. The horse skeleton, I think. So that whole scene of him wandering through the desert, that dream sequence, was actually not originally filmed with the movie. They needed filler for that section. So after they, I think, had the original cut for the movie, they decided they wanted to go back and do the dream sequence. But the original actor, the guy that played Carl Winters, already went back to America. So they, I think they ended up getting a look-alike to do that whole scene. So it's not even...
What if it was Bruce Campbell?
Be fucking awesome. So yes, they ended up getting a look-alike to do all those scenes. I want to say originally, maybe I'm wrong, but I think I read that
Probably
the guy that plays Carl Winters, originally they were going to go with Jeff Bridges for that role. And, or Jeff Bridges was interested, or they wanted Jeff Bridges, but they were like, he doesn't have enough international appeal, so they didn't go with him. And the dude that got the role was vacationing in Australia and told his agent when he's vacation, keep your ears open if there's anything filming. I want to audition for it. And of course he was that fucking hunky American type guy. So they were like, oh, you fucking got this. You're Carl Winters. So the role kind of fell in his lap. And I don't know. So I think it's one of those movies that it's a cult movie, right? And it's one of those that you look back on that's kind of silly, right? But I think that if you were involved with it, you're lucky to have been involved with it.
Yeah, and I'll definitely watch it again. I don't hate it. I just, like I said, conceptually, the boar thing, I'm eh.
What's your favorite animal attack movie?
Favorite animal attack movie? Are we talking
don't
real?
Say Jaws.
Oh no, I'm not. Are we talking actual animals that exist? It can't be
No, it can be anything. Well, don't say other than King Kong. Godzilla.
Okay.
No kaiju shit.
Well, I wasn't gonna go. I was gonna go probably Carnosaur 2. Because the first Carnosaur is kind of meh. Okay. It's an 8. It's because I don't know if you've watched those, but the first one is meant to be. It's a ripoff of Jurassic Park and Alien.
Put together.
Yeah, put together.
I'm gonna watch it. I haven't seen them.
But the second one, I fucking love the second one. Good old Roger Corman classics.
I'm going to say mine is... If we're excluding Jaws and we're excluding any kind of super natural kind of deal.
Right.
I really, really enjoyed I really enjoyed Crawl that we talked about.
Crawl was good.
Crawl was really fucking good. I wish I had a cooler answer than that, like something older, but like I really enjoyed Crawl.
Not Python?
Not Anaconda.
Anaconda, Python?
Piranha 3D.
Sharknado?
Sharknado
7?
Did I tell you I tried watching Clownnado on Amazon Prime?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fucking...
Isn't that the one where like it's literally like the tornado just brings like these serial killer clowns?
I couldn't make it through the first 15 minutes. We're going to do a killer commentary on it.
All right, I'm down.
Days.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, so Razorback, 1984.
Yeah. Watch it. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. No, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10.
Exploitation at its finest. And, you know, I don't know. Yeah, did it make you want to go to Australia?
Not this movie. I mean, I want to go to Australia, but not this movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because this doesn't... some shots didn't look like Australia. It looked like California in like 1865.
What was that weird ranch we were talking about in the other one? Sable, was it Sable?
Sable Ranch.
Sable Ranch, yeah. Oh, speaking of that, you know how like, well, when I think of Sable Ranch, I think of the Manson family. I don't even know if, was that Sable Ranch?
It might have been.
Okay, well, I don't know. But
It's been so long since I've read anything about the Manson family, like Helter Skelter and all that.
Yeah, anyway, so like we saw this group of kids the other day. Oh, that was Spawn Ranch. Anyways, we saw this group of kids the other day, literally yesterday, and they look like the Manson family. It was weird. It was so weird. Like, it literally looked like Charlie Manson, and there was like 3 or 4 girls with him. And I was like, hey, Tawny, it's the fucking Manson family. She's like, what? And she's like, yeah. But yeah, it was crazy how much they look like him. So I don't know if they were like doing some sort of like LARPing as the Manson family, or what was going on.
If any celebrities get stabbed to death over the next couple of days, then...
Well, you know, you're the only celebrity in this area, so watch
fuck
your back.
That.
Watch your back.
Fuck.
Yeah. Hometown hero.
Justin Christopher James stabbed to death by Manson family copycats.
Manson family LARPers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Razorback, rad. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It's a fun movie. My wife fell asleep watching it. So
Katie made it all the way through, but she was messing with her phone.
Yeah, that's why.
Because she was like,
yeah.
She didn't like it.
See, I got this sleeper hold. So, like, anytime I know that I tell Tawny, lay right here on my chest, it's game over. She falls the fuck asleep. It doesn't matter if she's there for 5 minutes.
It's not because she's comfortable. It's because he's choking her out.
Yeah.
It's like,
sleeper hold.
Take a nap.
Sleeper hold. So that's the trick. But yeah,
you
so
won't like this movie. Go to sleep.
She was talking shit the whole way through. She's like, "Why are you watching this? Why?"
And then that's when the choke hold came in.
Sleeper hold.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Razorback.
Yeah. Well, that's like, so when we were watching A Quiet Place too, Katie asked me shit too. She's like, I would point out things. She's like, why are you being so critical of this movie? I was like, because I'm a co-host on a podcast that forces me to fucking look at movies with a critical lens.
Yeah, right.
Like that, and I'm a filmmaker. So.
Last thing I want to say about it though, is let's talk about the budget real quick, because we normally bring this up. So this had a budget of $5.5 million.
Jesus Christ.
And you want to know what it made? What it grossed worldwide?
This went to theaters?
I think it was like
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Holy shit. I didn't even know this went to theaters. I'm going to turn my mic down a little bit since I'm right up on it.
Gross worldwide was $150,463.
Ooh. So
that's a certified flop.
Yeah, fucking flop. I was trying to.
You got a button for that?
No, because we took the one off. Wait.
There you go.
Just do that.
All right. So
actually, I do.
Y'all want to see a dead body?
Yeah. If you know what movie that's from, put it down in the comments on YouTube.
That's this movie.
Yeah. I want to see
the dead body.
All right. So anything else, Justin?
No.
Before we move to the next
definitely
section?
check it out. It's fun. Like I said, I give it a 6 out of 10. What got me through it was the cinematography, so I'll definitely watch it again for that. And I got to pick it up on Blu-ray just because I'm a collector and a completionist anyway. And that the Blu-ray art, the umbrella release, that cover art's fucking sick.
And we are quite aware about Boar, the reimagining or the remake from 2017.
It's got Bill Moseley in it.
Got Bill Moseley, directed by Chris Sun. We haven't watched it though. It also has that super like that powerlifting dude in it too. Or whoever he is, Nathan Jones, Australian actor, powerlifting champion, strongman, and former WWE professional wrestler.
Yeah.
Dude is fucking humongous. 6'11", 330 pounds.
Jesus Christ.
It's huge. right?
See the boar?
6'11".
He's the. It's like no special. It's just him running around on all fours. The entire, they've got him like some tusks.
Oh God, Bill Moseley, he gets himself in some shit, doesn't he?
Well, I mean, that guy, he just works. Like I listen to interviews with him. He just likes acting. Like,
did you know Bill Moseley? I don't mean to cut you off, but did you know that like apparently like his family are like Yale like fucking
yeah,
fucking
they're
like teachers or some shit, like his mom and dad. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like you would never expect Chop Top's parents to be that.
No.
I mean, that's very like.
But I'm kind of glad that he took the path that he took because
me too.
I fucking love that dude.
Bill Moseley's fucking awesome. Yeah. So, all right. So you ready to move to this next section here?
Yeah, it's trivia of terror time.
Oh yeah.
So
let's do it.
I'm gonna go first this week because you went first last week. So if you're new here, we use flashcards. We ask each other 3 questions. So the way we got this set up, I'm gonna play this music right here. After it's completely gone, his time is up or my time is up, and we get the answer wrong.
We get 2 tries and 1 hint.
2 tries, 1 hint. Also, we've asked each other the same question a couple times, so we've put those cards back in the box and got some new ones. So, are you ready?
Thrill me.
Oh, there you go. All right. Let's see. In what year was The Birds released?
1962.
You get one more guess.
1961. Oh shit.
1963.
Damn it.
You went one the wrong way.
Ugh. Okay, which one of these is the music? I don't remember.
This one.
Oh, that's right.
I can press it if you need
All
to.
right. Here we go. Question number 1 for you, Justin. Now, if you pay any attention to me, which you don't, just like everybody else, I mentioned this specifically in the last, it was either 24 or 23 podcast, and I told you we need to do a specific episode on this director. So, question number 1, Justin. Who directed House of the Devil? 2009.
Ty West.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Oh, you do listen to me a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah. Thought you were going to throw a curveball, huh?
Yeah. Hey. All right.
All right. Let's see what we got here. Ooh. Let's see. Some of these are just like really weird questions that like, no, I don't know why anyone would know the. Okay. Let's see. The headmistress of a prep school has been hiding from her brother for 20 years. Now she fears he will return to kill her son in this 1998 film. Oh my God, come on. 1998.
I drew a major blank right now.
Yeah, you did. Because
Okay.
the hint I was going to give you would have just... I had to stop myself because it would have given the answer away.
Okay, so since I missed my 15-second mark, that's 1 strike. So I have 1 answer, and I'm going to take my 1 hint.
Okay, 1 hint.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be a reboot sequel undoing all the previous sequels, and it is directly tied to the first film.
H2O?
Yes.
That's what I thought it was. I didn't want to say it because I didn't
Yeah,
want to
well,
say
my hint was going to be,
Yeah.
it's 20 years later.
Yeah,
But
it's
then that would have
H2O.
been...
Yeah. I knew what that was. I just...
Yeah. The trivia, like, that's... So for those of you listening, you feel like, how the fuck are they missing this? Like, play trivia with your friends about anything you think you're an expert on.
That music.
And see how
Raises
quick...
attention.
And see how quick you fucking forget the answers to the most simplest shit.
Here we go. So this is you putting your money where your mouth is.
Oh, now I'm fucking nervous. Let's go.
Nah, you know this probably.
Go.
All right. Question number 2. Peter Fonda starred in what 1967 Roger Corman film about LSD?
Oh, fuck. I'm going to miss this because that's like way back. I don't know. My time's up. There it is. All right. Give me a hint.
Okay, so let's say you're high as fuck. Somebody would say, man, that was one bad blank.
Trip.
Yeah. So, the movie is called The Trip from 1967.
Yeah, see, I would like.
I'll give it to you.
That's the thing about
I'll give it
Roger
to you.
Corman. He has so many fucking movies that it's like, I thought you were going to ask me a Cronenberg question, because that's where I would have put my money where my mouth is. Right
Okay.
there.
You've been talking about some Roger Corman lately. I thought you were more well versed.
Well, no, but we'll see. Okay, Roger Corman, like, I like his contribution to cinema history, and I know a lot of his films. But that's the thing about Corman. He has so many fucking films that you're like, oh, I know a lot of Corman films. You maybe know like 25% of them.
Use your eyes and see how much time we got left on that camera. Does it say? It doesn't.
I can't see. We're almost done anyway.
Yeah, okay. All right. So,
Because a little quick trivia, this doesn't count. Roger Corman. What movie did he produce that had a title that is now a multi-million-dollar blockbuster franchise?
I have no clue.
Fast and Furious.
Did he really?
Yep.
Sick.
It's totally nothing like the modern one. It has to do with fast cars and racing, but
All right, so
let's
we got
see.
question number 3, locked and loaded.
All right. Well, I gotta ask you a question here.
Yeah, you do.
I gotta find one.
Bring the pain.
Bring the pain. Let's see. Okay. No, that I can't ask
Yeah,
you that.
okay, I'm gonna hurt you.
Ooh. Okay. Time for you to put your money where your mouth is. Who directed Frankenstein, 1931?
Ooh. That is good.
I wouldn't have got this question either. Because when it comes to Universal Monsters,
I don't know who directed him.
so you're going to guess?
It's not the same guy that played him, is it?
Nope.
Okay.
You're not going to get it.
Give me one crazy hint. Do you even know how to hint at who that could possibly be?
His first name is my last name.
James Mick Justin.
James Whale.
See, I don't know who directed him.
I don't
really
either.
I've never
Like, I
paid
love
attention.
the Universal monster films, but that's more of like a nostalgia. Like, those are like comfort films for me. And I know, like, I can tell you the actors all day. Like, I can tell you all about some Boris Karloff, Lon Chaney Jr., but when it comes to like who directed those, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I mean, I could tell you that who played him. All right. I don't know if I want to ask you that or not.
We got to turn down the volume of this bad boy right here.
Yeah, I mean, you can. All you gotta do is turn down the freaking sound effects.
Oh, I didn't know that's what. Let's see.
Come on, big
Oh,
boy.
look at that.
Come on, big boy.
Hey, I'm still getting used to this fancy board over here.
Thrill me.
I will. All right. Are you ready for this? This is gonna be a wild card.
Oh, let's do it.
This may be you, may not. Here we go. Question number 3, Justin James. Name 2 horror movies starring Dee Wallace.
Ooh, oh my God, fucking D Wallace. Now I'm drawing a blank. Fucking, I could have answered this if it wouldn't have been trivia. We need to make that longer. It doesn't feel like 15 seconds. Now I'm genuinely like just still drawing a blank.
Okay, I'm gonna give you, so since you have 2, you have to name 2. I'm gonna give you 2 more. You get 2 tries. All right, so you want a hint?
Give me a hint.
Do you want to know who Dean Wallace is first? Like one of her roles, and then guess 2 other movies?
No, I know who Dee Wallace is.
Okay.
I'm just for some reason drawing a blank on her movies.
Okay, so she is one of the films. One of the films that you can name is a Stephen King film.
I know that. Isn't she? Okay, she's in Cujo.
Yep. Hit the ding. Okay.
Okay. Come on. Cujo. Dee Wallace.
So many horror films.
I
That's
know
her
she's
thing.
like she's a major player in the horror genre. It's just thinking of
Robo Croc. We got to watch that TV movie.
Dee Wallace. Isn't she in fucking
So let me give you one more hint and see if you can get it.
Okay.
So I'm going to just name one of the other movies, one of the ones that you should get straight off hand. Let me see if I can give you a fun hint for it. So this is going to be longer than 50 seconds because I'm looking for a fun hint. So this movie was directed by Joe Dante.
Mm-hmm.
The writer was Gary Brander. It's based on the novel by Gary Brander. Let me see. The tagline is, what she has witnessed, she cannot escape. What she has become, he cannot control. And what you experience, no one will believe until they come face to face with the inhumane fear that is
God,
the title of the movie.
Joe Dante and Dee Wallace.
Let me see.
Joe Dante.
I'm just trying to give you some fun,
I know,
hints,
but I'm like,
hints here.
this is what I'm talking about trivia. Like, you guys, like, you can think you know all sorts of shit. Like, for example, like, okay, if you would have, like, my question isn't name movies, good old fucking Linnea Quigley was in, but I could sit here and pop those off right now. But if that would have been the trivia question and I'm put on the spot, I'm like, Linnea Quigley.
All right, so here's a quote from the movie. A secret society exists, and living among all of us, they are neither people nor animals, but something in between. Insane.
Fuck, man. I'm just going to miss it. I'm going to take the L.
She plays a news reporter.
Fuck me, dude. Man.
The Howling.
Fuck, see? God damn it. That's why I was like, Joe Dante.
Yeah. You blank on it. It's just fucking crazy. It's trivia.
Blank, dude.
Anyway, so we're
Like,
both...
Like I'm saying right now, it's like...
You got 2 for 3. What did I get? Was I 2 for 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 for 3, 2 for 3.
All right. So that's like...
Not too bad.
You're all about some Linnea Quigley movies. Name 3 Linnea Quigley movies. See? That trivia is tough, man. But like I'm sitting here thinking...
Chopping Mall. Slumber Party Massacre 2.
Is she in that?
I don't know. Is she?
See, I'm thinking Return to the Living Dead.
Yeah.
You've got fucking Silent Night, Deadly Night. You've got fucking Savage Streets. Like, I could sit here and name them while I'm not, like, under pressure. But, as soon as... Night of the Demons? Like,
yeah. Night of the Demons.
But if that would have been my trivia question, I'm like, oh, fuck.
It's weird that you picked her out of anywhere. Linnea Quigley, that you'd pick that out of...
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just throwing out, like,
Yeah.
you know, or if
Now,
I
if
told
said
you...
Barbara Crampton, I would have been like, let me tell you about old Barb's.
All right. Name 4 Barbara Crampton movies.
We'll go to Chopping Mall. We'll go to Reanimator. We'll go to... Oh, fuck. You done fucked me up.
See, that's what I'm saying, man.
Bride of Reanimator. Even though she was
Kind
not in... not really in that movie. Linnea Quigley, though. She was in, like... What else was she in?
You're next.
She was in that, right?
She's in Jacob's Wife now.
Was that any good?
I haven't watched it.
Tourist Trap.
Yep.
She was a mannequin in Tourist Trap. I didn't know that. Sorority Babes and the Slimeball Bowl-O-Rama. That's what she's in. She's not in. What did I say? Slumber Party Massacre 2. That's I was getting those two mixed up. Yeah, Slumber Party Massacre 2. That's every time I see it. Oh, she was also in Linnea Quigley's Horror Workout.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm on the Linnea Quigley Horror Workout training.
Yeah, what's your program? Linnea Quigley's Horror Workout.
Yeah.
But yeah, trivia is rough, man. Like, you sit there and think about that shit.
But you know what? It's fun, though, right? Because it's like, we could sit here, we could edit this down when we get wrong answers, but, you know.
Nah, fuck it.
It's fun to get them wrong. I would much rather us get them wrong than get them right every time. Yeah.
Maybe.
So, Justin. I think that about sums this one up.
It does. Well, see, because okay, like now I'm sitting here looking like why couldn't I think of E.T. For D. Wallace?
Because it wasn't horror.
That howling critters. Fucking
Critters,
Hills
you
the
shoulda
first Hills Have Eyes. Like
You should have got that one.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You start popping out. Fucking Lords of Salem. Like I knew that she's one of the
Three from Hell.
The witches. She's in Three from Hell.
Yeah.
Like
She's in a lot of shit.
she's in Devil's Rejects.
Yeah.
Red Christmas. Yeah, see, and I knew she was in Rob Zombie's remake of Halloween because I'm pretty sure she plays her mom,
Did you know it?
Lori's mom. Yeah, I
Should've
was
said
thinking
it.
that in my head, but I'm like, was that D. Wallace? But it was.
Yep.
She's in fucking Popcorn,
Yeah, she's in everything.
Dolls.
Yeah.
Come on,
We Dallas.
get what you.
Getting it.
Shit, I'm pretty sure she's in 31.
She got legacy. Probably. That's what Rob Zombie does. He kind of keeps all the same people.
Yeah,
Which is rad. That's one of the few things I like about his films.
yeah.
Except some of the people he keeps that I'm not too fucking fond of. But so
When
getting
you're married to someone, and you want
Look.
to keep casting them.
Listen, I forgot until just the other day. We talked about it on the podcast before, but I forgot until just the other day, and I ran across it again about him doing the monsters, and I fucking got pissed all over again. And like, I'm like, okay, whether he has
That's gross.
his wife
You got pissed all over again. Not even the first time. Just
drip, drip, drip.
drip, drip.
So whether he has his wife play Marilyn or whether he has his wife play Vivian, I'm gonna be mad either way.
You know she's going to though. She's going to be Vivian.
Yeah, but I don't see her ever embodying that character.
Neither do I. But do you see
She would
her
have to be
ever
Marilyn.
embodying any of the other
She would have to be
characters?
Marilyn.
Yeah, she would have to be. But Rob Zombie's not going to do that.
Yeah, she's
He's
gonna be
gonna give her
Herman
the
Munster.
lead. Yeah. He's going to give her the lead. Okay, there's a fun thing. Who do you predict is going to be cast? She's going to be Vivian. I think Herman's probably going to be...
Bill Moseley.
Oh my God.
Grandpa Munster's definitely Bill Moseley.
Bill Moseley, yeah. It would have been Sid Haig.
Yeah, Sid Haig would have definitely been.
Yeah.
I think maybe he would have been Herman.
I don't know.
Because who else could play Herman? Sid Haig was huge. Like he was a big dude, like tall.
He's going to get Tyler Maine to do it. That's what he's going to do. Think about it. This is the only motherfucker that's tall enough.
Let's look IMDb real quick. Because if it's cast already.
I don't know, man.
Let me see. I don't want to look at his soundtrack shit. Where's his director shit?
Either way, I'm not looking forward to it because
No, not at all.
I know.
Oh my God.
Is it cast?
Sherry Moon Zombie is Lillian Munster. It is Lily Munster, right? Not Vivian Munster.
Yes,
Why was
Lily.
I saying
Lily,
Vivian?
yeah, why are we? I don't know.
Vivian. What am I fucking talking about? Yeah, so she's obviously playing
Yeah,
Lily
yeah,
Munster.
anyway.
Yeah, so she's the only one cast so far.
Of course.
Uh,
Damn, that's rough.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. That's kind of how it rolls. I mean, when you have or you're able to secure the the rights to remaking something, you can fucking put whoever. You could be fucking Lillian Munster. What was I seeing? Vivian Munster. What am I fucking talking about? Lillian. I know that.
Lily.
I know that. Anyways,
Yeah,
that sums this one up.
That's gonna wind it down. So if you want to check us out on Instagram, Cinema Creep Podcast. On Twitter, Cinema Creep Pod. Also Black Mass Films on Twitter and Instagram.
Yep.
So go watch Razorback. 6 out of 10 for me.
I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Cinematography stands alone.
Yeah, well, I can agree with that. So that's going to be it until next week. So see ya.
Through me.